Any second now. Hey, fans, welcome to the show. We're only going to be here for 45 minutes. Feel free to ask your questions of Rob Vega. And before we get started, here we go with the how we say introduction.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Well, here we go. It's the man that promises you nothing and delivers. It's the veritable man motor mouth. It's Road Woods who feels the need to call himself Rob Vega. It somehow makes him feel important. Anyway, do have a listen and try not to throw up.
You got to love it when we told the fans try not to throw up. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree with that because it is difficult to throw up in these times.
So
here we go. This is our little ego trip, and
Okay.
and I was thinking the other day, what do I get out of this? And basically nothing, which is fine because then my motives are pure. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your motives
It
are
sounded better
pure.
in my head when I thought that. I thought if I'm getting nothing out of this, then
Yeah.
there cannot be an ulterior motive.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So there we go. I just want to say that
All
I'm
right.
getting nothing out of this. Absolutely
Okay.
nothing. I'm not
There
getting
we go.
bribed by anyone. I mean, if you want to bribe, it's fine. We can give you we send us your bank details or vice versa, or however it works.
Unless you're a
Steve's
Nigerian
the bank
prince.
guy. Yeah, he can
Unless
hook you up. We
you're a
can.
prince.
Yeah, we'll extract funds from you. We're happy with that. That's fine. Credit card information gladly accepted. But no,
My God.
it's just too much paperwork, to be honest with you. I couldn't be bothered with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So here we are, another week along, and Jesus, all I can say is,
We're going
and
to talk
every
about
time I
Jesus
think-
today.
well, we're gonna all of them. And
Okay.
the thing for me is, when we're not together, Stephen, on this show, I
Yes.
occasionally will have moments I go, what am I going to talk to Stephen about? I'm like, I'm not sure. Let me think about what I should talk about. The thing is,
Sure.
you know what?
Tell
On
me.
my silly feed algorithm thingamabobby,
Yeah.
it so and so destroys someone, and this stunning revelation, and you just go,
Right.
I just look at this and I go, we've had this before. Dear God, the world is stupid. What the
Right.
fuck? Oh my God. And it's just I just want to say this before we start our discussion. Life is hard. Figure it
Yeah.
out, do it,
Yeah.
read books.
Right.
Don't even listen to us. Really. Fuck, really. Hello.
Don't tell them
Listen
that.
to yourself.
Only listen to
Yeah.
us.
Good God,
Only
if this is
them.
where you're coming for your information, I pity you.
Yeah.
No, really. It's extraordinary where people do get whatever are we calling it information now from it. It's just diabolical. I mean,
Yeah.
it's over there on your side of the world. It's here. It's
Yeah.
God, it's across Europe and I just think people. I'm speaking for the people that are looking across YouTube or whatever, looking for
Right.
some kind of redemption, some epiphany. You're not going to get it. I'm just telling you now, it does not exist. That holy grail, that
Mhm.
easy solution to all your life's problems. It just doesn't exist. But people, the online is just littered with all this shit as to how they're going to figure out all your problems in the blink of an eye. Like learn a language while you're sleeping. Well, you can't do that. That's bullshit. Oh, but you ingest words. No, learning a language is hard. You got to do it. It takes a while. Oh, learn it in 90 days. I saw a thing the other day that said, learn Spanish in 9 hours. Fuck off. Really?
Well,
And it goes on and on and on and on.
I
Lose
took
weight.
that class. By the
Lose
way,
weight.
it's that class.
Trying. Yeah. I'm just what you have to try. Achieve greatness without being great. Oh,
Right.
wow. Well, all I can say is that if you believe any of that or inclined, I know you want to believe that, but if you're inclined to believe that, you will never be great.
That's true.
Right.
And
There's the revelation. There's
Yeah.
the revelation right there. You want something. It's like your mama and your daddy said, good things are tough. They take effort. They take time. 10,000 hours apparently is the number. Someone pulled that out of their ass somewhere. The point is it takes time. That's it. That's really in a
And
nutshell.
just so I think you're
Oh,
wrong about the Spanish in 9 hours. I took the Spanish class and I'm going to show you what I've learned. Pase de pepe, por favor. So I am fluent in Spanish. So just so we're
in
clear,
9 words, yes, you are. Well
in
done.
9 hours, I learned a word every hour.
Oh, yes, there you go.
So, but you talk about greatness and greatness. I like more. The funny thing about greatness is it's a perception, because what you perceive to be great
Yeah.
is what someone else's perception isn't great. Like Donald Trump, we'll pick on Donnie for a little bit because he broke up with Elon. And I know Donnie called this morning
Oh,
and I
did
was
he? Oh, was
consoling
in tears.
Donnie.
Was he in
I
tears?
said, Donnie, I'm
Elon
so
was in
sorry.
tears.
Elon, they're both in tears and they're both calling. And I'm like, listen, guys, I don't have the bandwidth for both of you. But each of them perceive that they are great. And other people look at them and go, not so
Wait,
much.
wait. I want to interrupt that.
Okay.
I watched something the other day. You know who Mary Trump is? You do know who Mary Trump is?
I know who
I mean,
Mary Trump is. Yes.
right.
And Mary Poppins. And Mary had a
That's
little lamb.
probably
I know a lot of
so.
Mary.
Right. So Mary Trump. I know people know who she is. You can go and Google if you want. But Mary Trump, I think she's his niece.
Yeah.
She is Donald Trump's niece. Her dad
Yes.
was Donald Trump's older brother. Here,
Right.
her father was Fred Trump Jr., I think.
I think so. Here, I'll look her up and
I
I'll
think
give you the
so.
lineage.
Anyway, that's basically all you need to know.
Yes,
And
that is it.
and she's super smart.
Yes.
And I think she's a psychotherapist or
She's a
something to do with
psychologist and a writer, a member of the Trump family. She is a critical of her uncle, which is the president of the United States. Her book in 2020 about him and the family, Too Much and Never Enough, sold nearly 1 million copies. It was all bought by Donnie, apparently. So there you go. That's
Yes,
everything
he
about
did.
Mary Trump.
Yeah,
There
that's
you
it.
go.
So,
There you go.
but speaking of great, because you said Johnny thinks he's great, and
Yeah.
and I suppose on the surface, I would agree with that. But
Mhm.
but she was on a show the other day, and they were saying to her, well, because of who she's connected to,
Sure.
what was it like growing up with him, and so on. And she said a bunch of things. I'm not going to repeat everything she said. You can go and look at it yourself. But she did say something very interesting. She said, because they said she responded to a question. They said,
All right.
what can we expect? And she said, basically more of the same. It will get worse, chaos. And the reason for that, she said, is the world that he is manipulating now, the stage that he's on.
Yeah.
This is what he needs. It's not what he wants. It's actually what he needs, because he's not getting what he actually needs, and that is. And she said this: he wants to be loved. He doesn't feel like anybody loves him.
Okay.
And that on a serious level, that's what she says. He knows almost that no one's going to love him. So there's this bully, there's this brashness, there's this whatever the hell is going on. And you can take that, you can believe that or not believe it. That's the beauty of being alive on this planet. You can go, you guys are talking shit. I don't care. That's what she said. And she knows him better than we do. And that's what she.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could say, well, she needs to be loved. I'm sure she does, and I would imagine she is, because she's not doing all that. But whatever. The point is, it looks like maybe he doesn't think he's that great, so he's making a lot of noise to hide that. It has been said. We haven't gone into what we want to talk about. It has been said that us men, we don't really know how to deal with sadness and depression. So what we do is we flip it around and we become angry because it's discomfort. And that's not what. Well, I'm sure Mary Trump would say that, but that is basic psychology, apparently. And you can see that the problem is you've got a guy there who's in that job, who seems to be going through some sort of something we go through when we're teenagers. I don't know.
Menopause? No, I'm sorry.
No, not yet. Well, you've got to get through puberty first.
There you go.
No. You see, we're joking. Again, don't listen to us, whatever.
No, listen to us. Tell your friends. In fact, subscribe and like.
Otherwise, you'll get angry. Oh boy, who cares? But that's the thing about him. Apparently, he's going through something fairly basic, which is
the last 80 years.
that's fine. But if you and I went through it, well, great. We'll go and see a shrink, and I don't know, take something and do something, and
Mm.
do meditation or whatever stuff you need to cope. But the problem
Right.
is he's in quite a important job, so it's a bit concerning. And maybe that's why. And of course, Elon, I think he's the same. So
I agree.
you got two guys who don't feel they're getting
Love.
any love, and they, well, up until recently, were running the world, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I
It's
have a
scary.
question about. Let me ask you a question about this love thing. Now,
Oh,
I know I can pay for it. No, I mean, I know you can get love. So now Trump has been married like 27 times. I'm just trying to help you out. Um, so
yeah,
here's the thing. So Melania is his wife, and she has given him a child. So
yeah.
do you think there was love in the Melania Trump relationship, or was Melania just the KGB handler? And it was like part of her deal was to give him a baby. And on Elon's case, Elon must feel lots of love. He's got 737 children. So,
Dude.
you know, so it's kind of interesting. So these guys, Trump's whole career, he never must have been loved because, I mean, he's been this way for the last, 60 years while he's been in public life. And Elon's just Elon. He's just out there. I mean, I have nothing at this point. Anything he does, I'm not even shocked. The fact that he's mad about the president for signing the bill that he's about to sign about the budget, um, I'm not flabbergasted. But what annoyed me about it when I read the whole bill is they want to cut Medicare, housing. They want to
Mm,
cut all this stuff, and I'm like, and no one's upset. I don't give a rat's ass about Elon Musk. I want
mm.
to know you're going to cut Medicare, so you're going to cut insurance for people who have paid into the system. And I'm talking about the poor
Oh,
people. I'm talking about the elderly people. So this is what you're upset about. You're upset about this. And you literally cut nothing. You cut 178, I think the Financial Times billion from a $2 trillion make-believe thing you were going to try to cut. You didn't cut defense spending. So there's money.
well,
But what you cut was social services, the USAID, things that we actually need,
mm,
cancer treatments,
that,
cancer research, things that are important. You cut
mm,
that. And
mm.
this is what annoys me with these two gentlemen, if I can use
And then
that
try to
term.
rehire some of the people. Yeah.
And they had to rehire everybody back. Veterans Affairs, when they fired them,
Oh,
they
God.
literally had to
Wow.
fire. They fired the Veterans Affairs people, and then the senator went to Utah, where they all voted for Trump, and they were all Veterans Affairs employees. And they go, "We haven't fired anybody," and like 300 of them let this guy have it. And about a week later, they were all hired back, like
What about
90% of the Veterans Affairs.
all the air traffic controllers?
Well, forget the air traffic controls. What about the Nuclear Regulatory Commission? They fired everybody from there, and somebody said
But
to the administration because they don't know what nuclear means, but the Madagascar penguins do. But anyway, they
Steve,
said, wait, let me see. The best part about it was they said to them, the people you fired are the ones who protect our nuclear surplus and our nuclear supply and our nuclear missiles. And you're like, oh, we should probably hire them back. I'm thinking, you can't be this stupid, but apparently you are. So I agree with cutting. I agree, and I've said this on other shows. I agree with like the concept of it. The way that they do it in this Doge thing, get rid of these. This is bullshit. You need to bring somebody in with has IQ points, like what Al Gore did when he was with
wow.
Bill Clinton, and that's how you cut. And you cut it quietly. And at the end of 12 months, you say to the American people, by the way, we just saved you X. This like slash and burn stuff is just making us look ridiculous globally. When I talk to people around the
Well,
world, the first thing I get is, I'm sorry that you're in America. I've never gotten that before. So it's pretty pathetic that that's what I get. I used to tell them I'm sorry, whatever their country in. So
yeah.
all this is ridiculous. So I'm sorry that this guy needs love. Melania, go do your friggin' job, or whoever's her job or his job. Love this guy. And Elon, I don't really care about. You got what you deserved with your companies all tanking. And it's like enough. And I think Elon's upset because he paid $230 million and realized that he thought he was going to be the sugar daddy and he got kicked to the curb. And I think that's part of the problem there. So neither of them got what they wanted. So I don't know. That's my little
Well,
rant. I'm done.
okay. Well, yeah, here's the thing. What you say is very valid. The
Thank you
people
very
that
little.
need to hear it are
Yeah.
incapable of hearing it. The
There you
people who are capable and do hear it go, and we know this, and we didn't vote for that idiot. So you're sitting in you've got, it's the old story of you've got the two echo chambers, the one that, and they're not
Right,
even connected at all. So you have that is the problem. Yes, on balance, if everybody relaxes and we take ego out of it and if we really want to help people, we can see you can see anybody. If you take politics out of it and loyalty to an orange, whatever, and you say, let's just look at the facts. It's very easy to figure out. You don't even have to be an economist, administrator, and you can see it. But this isn't about. But Stephen, this isn't honestly about helping people. It's not about.
Right.
Doing the right thing for those poor people. It's not about, you mentioned the American people. It's not about the American people. It's not about them. Because if it was, then this wouldn't be happening. We know this. And the same shit happens here. You've got Cyril, I call him Squirrel Ramaphosa, Squirrel Ramaphosa, and you've got Donald Dumpster, who they're both the same guy. They don't care about the people. They are very self-serving. The thing that is interesting, God, we didn't get on to what we want to do, but anyway, fuck it.
It's okay.
The thing that is, it's very simple. If you want proper leaders, then you've got to do the work. You've got to you get the leaders you deserve. That's the point. You get what you deserve. If the majority of people there vote for that guy, then they have to accept what he does. That's the way elections work. If you don't like it, make sure next time you do some homework, do some research, not YouTube, for the love of God. You see, it's much harder. You've got to actually go and talk to people. It's like when we had the COVID thing, don't listen to YouTubers, go and actually talk to a doctor. Go and talk to a scientist. If you can't find one, well, then you don't have an opinion yet because you haven't got enough information. Until you find the right person, shut the fuck up and keep an open mind. But a lot of the information you need is available. We've mentioned this before. People are not quite sure how to find it out. So the point is you have to educate people how to educate themselves.
Right.
That's the challenge. I don't know whether it's schools, whether it's whose job it is. I'm not sure. But we've got exactly the same problem now. Europe have got the world has got that problem. We've said this before. You have a small group of people, and I'm being very patronizing here, Stephen. You are one of them. There's a small group of people who know, and it's not actually that difficult, what's really going on and how things work. But most people don't. They are one-issue voters. If they don't like abortion, then they'll vote for the person who is anti-abortion, no matter everything else that they don't like about them. And this is not peculiar to the US. It's the same here too. It's the same wherever. So that's the problem you deal with. You've got two guys who, I mean, honestly, if this was a reality show, it would actually be very riveting. No, it would be great. You've got the Donald, and let's be honest, The Apprentice, whatever you may think of it. No, I didn't dislike it. I didn't like it. It was whatever it was. It had value. It had entertainment value. There it was. It was the whole, you're fired. And there was a boardroom table and there was a whole thing. And Donald played the part and he wasn't bad. I mean, I'll give him that. They picked the right guy and there he was. And that's fine. That was his skill set. No problem. That worked. All that's happened now is he's transferred that whole thing. It's like the set has now moved to the Oval Office, and we're just doing the same thing. Whenever he does an announcement, you couldn't possibly put more charts and people around him. He can't just do it himself. He's got like 10 people around him. You're the greatest. And
that goes back to he wants to be loved.
Well, but that's the point, Stephen. He wants to be loved. And you know what? I don't blame him. I want to be loved. Who doesn't want to be loved? But we're not running a country. Well, ruining a
country. We're not ruining a country. Yes, we're not ruining a country.
And I'm so tired of this whole MAGA thing. Make America great again. As I've said before, America was built first of all by immigrants. Okay, anybody that looks like me or you isn't indigenous to the North American continent. You're all immigrants, unless you're from the Sioux or the Cherokee or whatever. You ain't from there. So you're all immigrants, whether it's you or two generations, blah, blah, blah. So basically everybody, apart from the Native Americans, notice I don't call them Indians because they're not Indians.
When you say Indians, you're talking to the guys with the Slurpees, right? Those Indians. They get you a Slurpee, sir. And then the head goes like this. I don't know why that's even
Indians. They're not Indians. Good Lord. All
Yeah,
right,
they're
they're just
just
not. If
yeah.
somebody couldn't read a map and they thought, shit, we've arrived in India.
Yeah.
No, you haven't. You're in the
That's
wrong
true.
place.
Wrong
Let's
place.
just
Yeah.
call them Indians anyway, because they look a little darker than us and they must be Indians.
But
Whatever.
here's what's really funny when you talk about indigenous people really quick before you go on.
Yeah.
In theory, we call this place America. So in theory, an Indian / indigenous person should be an American. 'Cause technically, if we call Indians from India Indians, and if you call people from Africa Africans or Afrikaans, if you call Canadians Canadians, then in theory, the indigenous population that was here before any of us, they would technically would be American because we call this America.
Well, I don't have all the facts at my disposal, and we don't need to research, but I have it on good authority. I had an immigration attorney who got me my work visa in the States because I'm a legal guy. I'm a legal alien. I'm not an illegal
Congratulations,
alien.
you and ET.
When I was wandering around New York, I was an Englishman in New York, and I was a legal alien. It was fantastic. I wasn't happy with the alien description, but anyway, it's whatever. Now what was I going to say?
Old timers.
No, I was going to say that old timers. You notice that Alzheimer's rhymes with old timers. So America apparently wasn't the continent's original name. So if you drill down and talk to people that had been there for thousands of years, like the native, I call them Native Americans because I don't have another word for them, but the people indigenous to that region, they had apparently another name for that whole territory, and that's what they are, apparently. Oh, and by the way, Indians, apparently there's another name for India as well, which they call it. So India was a thing, apparently the English named it that. So this is what we do. We go around the world and we go, you're America, you're India, Indians, Americans. But apparently it's a bit more complicated and the history reaches back further than that. But that's a side note. That's a side note. The point is, all of us of a lighter persuasion that if you're in the North American continent, by the way, Canadians are also Americans.
Turtle Island,
Think about
by the way, is what is the name. Just still, I'm reading whether this is true. This is on Google. It could be. It's giving me the Spanish called it one thing, the Germans called it someone else. It says, additionally, some Native American cultures refer to North America as Turtle Island. So the indigenous people would be the Turtles.
Island.
Wasn't that a group like the Turtles? Hey, the indigenous people are basically a rock band from the 1960s. That's awesome. Congratulations. But yeah, so they would be the Turtles.
But I wanted to say something because I love stirring the pot. Canadians are also Americans.
So they're Turtles.
Are they?
Well,
Canadians are Americans. So that begs the question, then what the hell are Americans? Shouldn't they have a bigger title? Because it's like saying, let me put you this way. It's like saying, it's like me saying I'm African. You got to be specific from what do you mean? I'm from South Africa. So although I'm a bit of everything, but just imagine I'd actually been born here, which I wasn't, but then I'd be African. Okay, good. So that's the continent. Right. Now let's drill down and find out what country on the continent you're from. So you would be, if you're from Namibia, you'd be Namibian. If you were from Kenya, it'd be Kenyan. And so it goes. So my point is, the continent is North America. There it is.
Right.
So,
or North Turtle.
People from the continent of North America are all Americans. Even the Mexicans, they're all Americans. The Mexicans are specific to Mexico. Canadians are specific to Canada. So they're Canadians who are American. So you're Kenyan, you're a Kenyan, you're an African, but you're also a Kenyan. Do you see where I'm going with it? Now, my question is, what is America? What are Americans?
They don't know. See, like I always tell people when they go, are you an American?
What would you?
They go, are you an American? I go, no, I'm a New Yorker. And they look at me like that's part of America. I'm like, no, it's not.
Steven.
Steven,
can you see this?
I'm gonna have to zoom in on this for the fans. No, it's blurry. It's blurry. You'll have to read it to us. I see the Empire State Building. Oh, New York City. There you go. Look at you. So I like it. That is very nice. Look at the New York City mug. And here, just so we're clear, because we're being sponsored by Disney today and they didn't know it, I have this mug. So So there you have it. You people on the podcast, we're sorry you can't see it. So
This is
there you go.
from the Starbucks. I don't think it was on 32nd and Broadway.
Sure.
Hello, how you
Yeah,
guys
hello.
doing?
So
Got your mug.
hello to all you ladies that work there. Anyway,
I got your mug. I got your mug next to my mug.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
oh, by the way, there's this news that just flashed across on the Wall Street Journal that Mega is having an internal civil war now. The people that love Trump and the people that love Elon.
oh, it's
So
fabulous.
it's
Great.
that's going to be awesome because internally they're fighting like who needs to be loved more, apparently. So,
But it's so frustrating, Stephen, because
yeah.
there's two things I want to say. One, I was going to say the MAGA thing irritates me, not because I respect they want something great for the country. I don't get that. But why would you not think America isn't great at the moment? It is.
Yeah.
It pretty much, it's the largest economy in the world. Why would it, why this make America great again? What does that even mean? It's like saying make, who's the fastest guy in the world? Oh, that's right. He's from South Africa, Akani Simbine, the fastest man in the world right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Akani Simbine.
In fact, he came on the show and you missed it. That's how fast he was.
And then he's gone again. There we go. He was.
Yeah, there we go.
So it's like saying, and he is right now. He's run the fastest time, and he's a lovely guy, and I wish him all the best. I can't go, and I wish him the best all the time on my show, my radio show, and he's a lovely man. Go, buddy, get that goal. But my point is, it's like saying to someone like him, make Akani fast again. He's already fast.
Yeah.
He's already fast.
Right.
So this.
And the South African government, of course, is blocked him. There you
I'm
go.
not even. Well, I have one foot in the country in a way, but I'm saying it is already great. What are you talking about? It's a stupid, ridiculous slogan. That's all I'm saying, because it implies that America isn't great. We shit now. Let's make America great again.
Right.
But it isn't.
Well, now we have to, because of all the crap that they've done. We do have to make it great. We do have to make it great again because of all the crap that they just did. I think this. If you think about the slogan, and I'm not trying to belittle people that voted for Trump or the mega people or whatever, but it really is I'm being very serious. If I'm going to belittle you, I'll just tell you you're idiots and that's it. But I'm not. I think the slogan
he'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I think the slogan is really just for I want to almost say for stupid people. It's like he's saying make America like. What era are you talking about? Are you talking about the 70s, the 60s, the 40s, the 1830s? Like when do you? So it's one of those slogans. It's like Nike, just do it. Okay, it's the same type of thing. It's a throwaway that people go, oh, this is great. So they did a focus group. Focus group wrote, this is a great saying, and people are going to love it. Okay, well then you come in and you're dismantling everything. And you're not making it great. You're causing disruption globally, and to an extent that's good because it needs a little disruption, but you're weakening the country, you're weakening the economics of the country. Wall Street bankers are in a panic, M&A deals are in a panic, the tech industry, everyone's in a panic, and the one guy who's not is the guy who's getting rich on it, which he's not supposed to, is the president. So for him, he is making America great again for himself. And so it's very interesting when they say these slogans. And the problem is that, and I've said this on other shows, the American people, like most people around the globe, are ostriches. They stick their head in the sand. They don't care. They don't know. As long as they're doing well, they don't think whether it's locally, nationally, or globally, they don't think past the block, past their house. And that's part of the problem, is that we haven't raised citizens globally to think globally. We teach them to think about, this is your little world. No, there's a big blue marble. It's the third rock from the sun. You can't miss it. You make a left at Pluto, and you have to think about it globally. And I had this dialogue with someone yesterday. I said, talking about Vietnam, and they're like, I'm like, my job is to know everything about everything in every country. And if I don't, I have to research it. I said, because you have to think globally. The minute you stop thinking globally, you're dead. So these people where they're like, make it great. No, you may want to make America stronger in AI, or make stronger in quantum computing, and you may want to do this. America's already, or was, a great country. Now that you're tearing it down, what do you plan on building it up to? You want to be like China, Russia? I mean, so this is bad in that respect. And the economy is just like teetering on whether it goes into recession or depression. And that's the other interesting thing is, and then you're going to cut services, and then you're going to cut this, and you're going to cut that. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to have a real civil war? I mean, like, that's, are you making America great again back to 1775 when it was us against the British type of thing? That's the interesting part.
There was something that I came across the other day, which was really disturbing. I don't know if you heard this. It's the whole fight that they're having with Harvard, which is very interesting because I don't quite know the rankings, but as far as I know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, Harvard is the top university in the world for research and whatever top. The next 9 places are all occupied by Chinese universities now. So the only university that's really great in the MAGA world is Harvard. And they're trying to do it, which I think is interesting because it's the one university that is still, I mean, there's lots of other great universities, but they want to strip out what I don't know. Must Harvard just bow down before them and just agree? I'm not saying we've had this conversation. I'm not a fan of what people say. A lot of people say, and I'm sure they don't appreciate what I say. But that's what universities, that's what discourse is about. You chat, you discuss. In fact, if we all just agreed, it would be the most boring fucking conversation. Stephen, I can say something to you and you can say something to me, and as long as we've thought about it and we've got something that's remotely intelligent to back it up, then the person who doesn't agree might actually learn something.
Right.
And we've had this before. But to go after the one thing, we haven't even spoken about religion, the one thing that the one university that's actually doing it, and people look up to Harvard, they do.
Right.
I mean, if you have the resources, what's this, like $85,000 a year or something? If you have, or might be more, if you have the resources and the brains, that's where you want to go. And now we've obviously, he's shut down the international student thing, which I think is it's really odd. I understand that they may be doing things that you don't like, but it's a university. What are you on about? It's anti-Semitic. It's a form of protest. They anti everything. I mean, literally, I spent time at varsity. University students are anti everything, but whatever, they protest, they jump around. Okay, it's like saying, right, you're not allowed, no teenagers. Teenagers cannot be teenagers anymore. I don't care about your hormone level or your prefrontal cortex development or anything like that. You're not allowed to be who you are. I mean, if someone gets injured or if there's violence, that's a different story. But I'm trying to understand what it is about Harvard that seems to have such a tilt. Did he not get in?
That's what somebody said. The hypothesis is that he probably applied and didn't get in. But Harvard isn't what it used to be. Research-wise, it is. But they have remedial math now. So Harvard, I'm sorry, you're like a scam. You've got the name, but you're letting anybody with money in. And to Trump's point, and part of it I agree with, is like, why isn't he said, like, if some poor black inner city child has got great grades and smarter than some white rich kid, why isn't that kid getting in? So I think that was part of the reason. That was part of the reason.
That's good.
That was part of the reason, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Cutting funding off for like the cancer research and all that other stuff, that I don't agree with. But when I read an article, it was a month or two ago, that Harvard has remedial math and remedial, I'm like, okay, so basically, if I have enough money, I can get my kid in, even if they're stupid. That's bad. So no, Harvard isn't the prestige it used to be. And most people I know that went to Harvard, assholes. Full stop. Assholes. And here's why.
Okay.
I sat in a meeting with this guy. I didn't know him. We were doing a deal, and every other word he goes, at Harvard I learned this, and at Harvard I learned that, and yada yada yada, for an hour. And at the end of the meeting, we were walking out to go to lunch, and I said, and my buddy, my business partner, was also my friend, was grabbing my arm and goes, "Please don't do this. Don't do this. I know what you're going to do." Before I even said it, and I say, "Excuse me." I go, what school did you go to again? I forgot. He goes, I went to Harvard. I was like, I'm thinking to myself, he didn't get the irony of like, you're an idiot. And so they're so impressed that they went there. It's just, who I'm more impressed with? I met people from Yale. You'd never know they went to Yale. They're very quiet about it. They're smart. Met people
So
from Oxford,
phenomenal.
smart. They
Phenomenal.
don't tell you that they want. I like that. You MIT, Harvard's the only school they seem they have to boast that they went to Harvard, and I don't get
Okay.
that. So yeah, I'm not impressed. I think what the administration is doing. I know that some Jewish students at Harvard said that they did feel threatened. They did this, and the administration did nothing. That's bad. If
That
I'm a
is
student, and I don't care if you're white, you're black, or you're a Palestinian, or you're a Martian, or an alien, or whatever you are, if you go to the administration and go, I'm feeling threatened, the administration has to actually do something about that. And Harvard did
okay.
nothing. So, in that respect, to the Trump administration, I agree with it. I don't agree on cutting funding from research. You want to cut the funding for the other shit? Don't care. You want to remove their tax exempt status? They've got a $70 billion endowment fund. Knock yourself out. Could care less about that. But if I'm the president of a university, and if someone comes into my office and they say, I'm feeling threatened. Now, if it's one person, I'll be like, not really worried about it. Why? We can figure it out. But if I have a group of people, whether it's male, female, dot, 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 and they go, we're feeling threatened by this, then I, as the university president, have to take an action.
Okay.
Also, if I'm supposed to be the most esteemed university or one of them, I'm not offering remedial math. If you're that stupid, you can't come to our school. And if it really is going to be based on who can write the biggest check, then let's cut the bullshit with these SAT
All right.
tests and these
Well,
GMT tests and just go done. So that's how I look at it. And I never applied to Harvard, so I don't give a shit.
okay. All right. Well, I mean that shed some other light on it. I didn't think that they offered remedial math, so that's
That was a big story a couple months ago that because the kids can't do like college math, so they have to like remedial
what
like
the university
2+2. Yeah, they're going to Harvard. They can't do math.
They're at Harvard.
You're no kidding. That's my point. It's bullshit. And that's why Trump was saying in one of his press conferences, if you're an inner city black child or you're an inner city child, period, and you can't afford to go to Harvard, but you're smarter than the white kid that's there because mommy and daddy have money, I get it. And that's why he's like, I want to remove their taxes. So things that he wants to do, to an extent, I agree with because he's saying, hey, wake up. You have to be fair to everybody. And on the other hand, I'm like, you're cutting research that can save lives. Not so much. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, I've said earlier, I like the concept of a lot of things. It's just the way they do it is wrong.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
Is it just Harvard that it seems to be just Harvard, or is it
just Harvard? Just Harvard. From what I gathered from all the articles, it's just doesn't seem to be picking on anybody else. It just seems to be Harvard.
I think the argument might have more credibility if you went after all fancy institutions and said, first of all, anybody offering remedial math, goodbye, right? That's got to go.
Yep.
If you can't get into Harvard, you got to bring back the merit standards, not the rich standards. Okay? That would be, otherwise, as you said, anybody with a big enough checkbook can get in, which kind of undoes the prestige of the university. Right. I know, for instance, my daughter studied in the UK, and we at one point were considering sending her to Oxford. Just to be clear, as a British citizen, it wouldn't have cost me anything. There used to be a thing back in the day called university tax, which everyone had to pay, and everyone was not happy with that, quite rightly. Why should you pay tax for everybody's education? I agree with that. Up to high school, sure, but university is different. So they had a university tax. They removed that, and they brought in a new thing, which we did, where you take out a loan. So you take out a loan, all right, £9,000 a year. You take out a loan. It's dependent on you. First of all, you obviously got to get in, be accepted. Right. There's a merits, there's a standard that you have to meet. So you have to be accepted. Then you have to achieve home status. That means you have to be a British citizen and I've got 3 years, whatever, residence and blah. Anyway, we managed to get all that. But they did say to us, all right, your daughter's in, everything's fine. If she fails anything, any year, the entire loan becomes payable at current market rates.
Wow.
Which is going to be crazy. All right?
Yeah.
So you need to make sure this is what you want to do. Otherwise, you're just going to have every Tom, Dick, and Sally registering. And then we got all these people with meaningless, useless degrees, blah, blah, blah. So we need people that are motivated to study, that are actually going to finish the course and then do something with it. So there's got to be, you get interviewed, you write. You're going to write an essay, like the States. You're going to write an essay.
Yeah.
Why you want to get in, what your contribution will be, why you like the course, all of that. So they've got to get a handle on you, who you are. Anyway, so at one point, my daughter was about to finish her degree. She did very well, thank God.
Mhm.
So she's got the specter of this loan, which, I mean, she pays back at a trickle.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
after a certain period of time, they write it off. What they want to make sure is that the person who has the degree, who gets through, that we don't want to prejudice those people. We want to
Right.
prejudice the people that are just dicking around. That was
Gotcha.
clear. Which I thought was, I mean, there's a little bit more to it than that, but that's basically the premise. So she did very well, and they were very happy with her. So they're not really too worried about getting the money back from her anytime soon. And the rate we pay is almost 0% interest, and you've got to meet an income threshold. Anyway, I'm giving all. This is not important. At one point, the university she was at, Reading, which is like a brother sister university to Oxford. I think Oxford might have started Reading. I'm not sure. We were thinking of sending her there, moving across and studying medicine. So we went across and we chatted with them. And I'll tell you what, Stephen, this is where America isn't great. This is where things do need to change. Because I enjoy America. I love what America's about. But this is where there's a problem, in the sense that, yes, if you are an inner city kid in the UK, but you meet the standard, you will, as long as you meet the standard, as long as you write the tests and you get in, the loan will be extended to you. So there was no question when we opted for the loan, they weren't worried about how much money we had. They wanted to make sure we weren't dirt poor, that we didn't have 2 cents to rub together. But it wasn't really a consideration. It wasn't a consideration. Once they could see she met the standard, the conversation ended. And I'm not saying there aren't people that are prejudiced in the UK about getting into universities and blah, blah, blah. But it was certainly, I was of the opinion, this was Oxford now, probably one of the top, they were with Harvard, one of the best universities. And they weren't too worried. They never asked me about income at all. They just wanted to see what her marks were, how she was doing at Reading, blah, blah, blah. And if I wouldn't say she was offered a provisional place if she thought that's something she wanted to do based on the marks she had at Reading. And then she graduated, she finished, and then she came back here and thought, no, actually, I want to work in a lab. I want to do that. And she was happy. But the door is still open. And the point is, it's accessible if you have the brains, which is what universities should be about. It shouldn't
Not
be.
anymore.
So if you're from whatever background, I mean, we've got people, I don't want to get into the whole political thing here in South Africa, but there was a kid, my wife is in education, she's in administration, and there's a kid at the school who they got in, and she comes from a very poor background. Yes, she is a girl of color, and she's in a township, which is like honestly, it's one step up from a squatter camp. It's really not great. And she studied for exams under candlelight, for God's sake. And we have this thing called load shedding where power goes out. So she studied under all those very trying circumstances, and she got a full house of distinctions. I mean, she's as bright as the day is long, and everybody is lining up to get her into whatever university. That's what you want. You want people to feel that it's going to be a little, as long as I can get the results somehow. But also, what I wanted to say was, it takes a bit of work, but you need to go and find those people. I mean, she had to go out and reach out to people and say, these are my marks, which is fair enough. But I think instead of just extending places to people with money, go and find these kids, go and find them, do your damn work, go into communities. But they're not going to do that. I have the same argument here. We've had the whole thing where they've passed these race laws or whatever, which I get politically. But if you want to develop a population, it's not just a case of passing a law and saying you can only hire people of a certain color. Okay. But you got to go, why not train those people? Go and do some work. Find them. Get in there. Oh, no, that's going to take too much time. And, you got to get to know people. There's got to be eye contact. I've actually got to talk to people. Bullshit. No, we'll just pass a law. And it's the world over. Politicians they don't want to work hard. They don't really, they want They want to have a little show and tell. Vote for me. Look how great I am. Here's my big ass car. Here's my lovely ass house. And yeah, you guys are good. Vote for me. They don't, I don't know. There's very few of them, not just America, anywhere, where they really give a shit about the people. They're good with words. They're good with words. And they can bullshit. But then when they get in, they go, oh, shit, look at this lovely leather seat. Whoa, this is nice. Oh, travel allowance. Oh, wow. We just had our deputy, listen to this. Side note, our deputy president. I will give South Africa this. The transparency about information, the access to information is vastly superior to what it used to be. So the shit's still happening, but now more people know about it, which is, I guess, a good thing. You know, if you're an alcoholic and you don't know, but when you know, maybe you can or can't do something about it. Okay. So we've got that now. We've got this guy who buggered off to Japan and buggered off to the UK. And for example, in Japan, in 3 days, he managed to spend the equivalent of, and I just want to do a little currency thing in my head, about $200,000. Okay. Yeah, in 3 days.
Weekend in Vegas, I get it.
Wow, in 3 days. So and you can understand how much money that is here. That's big money. All right. That's house money. You can buy a house with that. And he managed to plug it in 3 days. So we've got that. We've got these people who just go in and do working visits and build relationships and bullshit their way. It's not peculiar to the States. This is what I wish Americans would know. That shit that goes on there goes on here. In fact, it goes on worse here. So
it goes on worse globally.
You're good. But for the love of God, same here. We got to do our research. We've got to get the right people in. It's the same there. I don't blame Donald. I don't blame Elon. They're unloved people who have pursued a way to find happiness. You know, good luck to him. He sits in a house with gold and Jesus, it's unbelievable what's around him. And fine. I don't blame him. I honestly do not have any issue with the man at all. I look at the people who vote for them and go, what do you think you're going to get? What do there's interview after interview with people going, oh, I didn't realize. Okay, well, it was there
for 40 years.
No one told me. I mean, no. That doesn't cut it. No. And also, I like the Australian model. I agree with this, where I don't quite know how they fine you or prejudice you in any way, but Australia, voting is mandatory. You have to vote. If you go there and you destroy the voting thing, fine. You spoil the ballot, good. But you have to show up. It's a law. And I think to myself, if you had the same thing there, would it change things? I think it might. I think people say, oh, I don't care about politics. Well, then move to Antarctica. Seriously. Because if you live in any country, you it's like saying, I'm not really into breathing, hey? It's not really a thing. I don't like breathing. You kind of have to breathe. And politicians or politics, whether we like it or not, it's our life. We have to know who the hell's running our life. You can't say, oh, I don't care about politics. You don't care who's running your life, who you're paying taxes to, who you've appointed to look after your children's future and security. Are you an idiot? No, you don't get to say, oh, I'm not interested in politics. Well, then go and find an island. I believe Guam is quite nice, for example. I don't know.
Yeah. I've heard it is. It's very pretty. I think it's interesting. Now, we're at the magic mark of 45. Do you need to leave and we say goodbye? So
I'm gonna have to. I gotta run.
He's got it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And if you want to catch the show or rebroadcast, it's on Friday. Go to our live part, or you can catch us next Wednesday live, where we'll talk about God knows what, doing God knows who to whoever. Anyway, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Catch the podcast on Friday morning as well if you don't want to see our pretty faces. And we'll see everybody next week. Have a great day. Cheers, everybody.
Thank thank you so much for listening to this Road Woods Rob Vega, whatever the hell he wants to call himself, fellow. You know, this podcast thing, it makes him feel very important, and he's a difficult fellow as it is to deal with. So thank you so much for putting up with him, and do take care.
And we are.
Yeah, that's a good production. That's a good production.
God help us production.
And for the love of God, do take care.
Here's the best part. I've hit end stream and we're still streaming, so this is fun. So I guess this is cool. We can just go whenever, no big deal. So whatever we say now, it's re-recorded apparently because the StreamYard can't end. So
Stevie, I just wanted to say that was awesome. That was absolutely amazing. I'm not quite sure what we spoke about, but